Hey y'all, Jesse Petersen here, Let's Make Art. I'm a mixed media artist and I like art journaling. And today I have a fun project for you. We have been working on things in our journal that is interactive. So we're gonna make this today.
Ooh.
We got Keenan here, cheering us on.
Hello.
As the hype man, cheerleader, camera guy.
Yes.
All the things.
All those things.
And if you're new here and you haven't done art journaling, you're like, what the heck is that? Well, art journaling is whatever you want it to be. You can use prompts and practice art techniques and just fill your book with cool stuff. And it could be anything from music, lyrics of a song that you like, and you're just like illustrating it, or you just want some like positive, you know, things to remind you, or you can just explore like cool paint techniques.
Yeah.
All good.
You could even do like a treble clef and do the first few notes of a song that makes you happy.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Sweet.
Okay, so I like to start out with kind of what the project we're going to do is, the prompt and our supplies and stuff like that. So this is our project, but there's more. There's more, Keenan. It says a book is a magic portal, but when you open
Wait for it.
To another dimension. So this is kind of like you can choose what you want to have be revealed on the inside, whatever. So let's read the prompt because that explains it.
Perfect.
When you are creating interactive pages in your journal, you can experiment with what is hidden and what is visual. By cutting windows or flaps on one page, you can hide some elements and let others show through. How can you use creative cutting to create interest in your journal? So this is just one way of doing it, and maybe it will trigger some more ideas for you, but this is what we're gonna do. And the supplies we are gonna need for this project are Dylusions Bubblegum Pink Paint, which I love. Pure Sunshine Paint and white linen. We're also going to use this Distress Crayon. It's a chip sapphire. We'll need a little Yes paste. If you have a glue stick, that's fine. We're going to use this graphite paper. We're going to use oval mop brush, 1/2 inch. We're going to use a number 8 round brush. We're going to use a palette knife for getting our Yes paste out, and we're going to use a craft knife. This one is gold, and that's fancy and fun.
That is fancy.
And have some water, paper towel nearby. That's always nice to have. And I think that's it. That's the supplies. And for the steps in this technique, we're going to paint one page with bubblegum pink paint and the sunshine paint, and then we're going to paint the shades of blue on this one. Then we'll cut the windows out and then add our embellishments. So it's going to be, it looks hard, but it's not hard. You can do this. It's going to be fun. Another thing that I like to do when we're working on these projects, and we've set a little time aside to do some art journaling, is just to set an intention. Sometimes I get so caught up in like what I hope that's going to happen with it. You know, it kind of like stunts my creativity, or like I just can't actually stop like thinking about the dishes or whatever is happening in order to like get in the middle of space where I actually enjoy art journaling. So I like to set an intention, and that comes along with like, you know, taking a deep breath and like really committing to being like intentional about the time that I'm using to create. So I was thinking a good intention today would just be to let go of thoughts of stress, whatever is happening. Like you can put that on hold for a minute, right?
Yeah. Pause.
So yeah, I think that's a simple one, but we can do that. So let's take a deep breath. And we're just gonna have fun. We're gonna make some cool stuff. All right, so I'll set this aside, get out my other journal that we worked on last time, and I'm gonna turn a couple pages, get right in the middle here, and we can start painting the pink on our paper. I'll move these other things out of the way for now. Dispense our paint. Got a little pink, a little yellow, Pure Sunshine, and bubblegum. I guess I should be more clear in my description of the paint.
Pure Sunshine.
It's pretty great. I got my oval mop, and I'm going to do pink first, and I'm going to lighten it a little with my white. And I'm just gonna kind of loosely do some circles here. And we'll go back over this again when we trace our circles on, but kind of just wanted to get an idea of kind of just a little. A little pink in there is nice.
Yeah, I like that. That looks good.
Sometimes I like to warm up to a page where, you know, I do a light yellow and then get a little darker. And sometimes I just want to go for it so I can I committed. I'm in. I'm not scared of this. It's going to be fine. I just felt like going for it, you know? Okay, so I've got those in there. And now we can do, I'm going to mix a little bit of this pink with the yellow. And then I'm going to add a little bit of white to it, get a lighter color. It's kind of just like this nice peachy, and are you able to see all that, what I'm doing here?
Oh yeah.
Okay. And then I'm going to add some water. And then I'm just going to come in here and do some of that little peachy color. And it's kind of fun to just swirl it in. To what we already got on the page. Nothing too exact or crazy. I'm going to add a little bit more white to mine so I can get some lighter value, some dimension in there. I'm already feeling calmer. As soon as my paintbrush gets to the page, I can feel myself relax. Like, it's such a great feeling. And I know I'm acting like I'm surprised by that, but I just forget how good it feels to paint until I do it again. And I'm like, why did it take me so long to get here sometimes, you know?
I deserve to do this more often.
Well, yeah, sometimes I think I have to get this whole list of stuff done so that I can go and do that thing that is like the thing that I do for me, you know, whether it's painting or some other, you know, activity. And I have found that sometimes if I just let myself do that first, I'm more pumped to do all the other things because I had that little like hit of happiness in my life, you know. I think sometimes, especially like we deprive ourselves of stuff because we feel like we don't need to we need to do all the things before we do something fun. And I think that's good, you know, sometimes. But I also think it's like good to just do that thing first. See what happens when you do that. I don't know.
Mavis is doing a great job.
Isn't Mavis great? I just love the oval mop brush, aka Mavis.
Mavis. I feel like Mavis needs a backstory.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm into it. He's singing about it.
You know, what kind of life has Mavis had? She's doing her life's work right now. She's meant to be here, you know? Much like us. We're meant to be here to be doing art.
Mm-hmm. I listen to a podcast that like gives inanimate objects like a life and like a narrative.
Yeah.
And you're making me think about that. Like, you know, if you interviewed Mavis and she had a voice, like what she would say, like, what does it feel like when someone uses me as a paintbrush to paint?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I feel like she's very grateful because she's made for that. So she's a very grateful
she's fulfilling her
paintbrush.
purpose.
Absolutely. She's living her best and most important life.
I love this so much. I love it. Okay. This is feeling good. I like it. I'm going to let this dry. What I'm thinking is I wanted to just get some paint on there and go for it. Now I'm going to let this dry and then we can cut out some circles at some point. We can like draw where we want the circles so we can kind of paint around, you know, where the circles are going to be. I just wanted to start painting. So I got that. Now it's got to dry, and then we're going to take these circle shapes and trace them on there. Now, if you don't have this, you can find other circle shapes like, you know, this. You could trace that, a cup, you know, you could put that on there and trace that. So you can just make it work however you want. Okay, we're going to let this dry. I was going to turn the page and start working on this, but then that's going to stick to that. So we got to let it dry, and then we'll do the next step. Okay, this is dry. I just hit it with a heat gun. You can use a blow dryer, or you can, you know, wait for the paint to dry. Whatever works for you.
Watch the paint dry.
Yeah.
That's an activity here in Missouri since there's not much else going on.
So I've got some graphite paper here. Do you want to tell them what graphite paper is, Keenan?
Graphite paper is a paper that you can utilize to transfer an image from one piece of paper to another.
Yeah, and I love that you did that in your best radio voice. That was awesome. I forgot to bring tape to tape this down. I did not forget the tape. I have the tape right here. Tricked ya.
Tested. You passed.
My middle daughter is kind of into that right now, where she's just like, oh, you want me to get that one thing? I got this other thing. Tricked ya. I'm like, that's cute, but can you get that other thing, though?
That's really good. Your smile's getting really old.
No. Tricked ya is so funny. So funny, you guys. For now.
For now. I mean, I do the same thing to my parents still. Tricked ya. Leave you at a park.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, you can tape it down. You can also use our clip, because my paper got wonky because I painted on it. You know, you can also do this step first if you wanted to, but I just wanted to do that. Okay, all right. So I'm just going to do loose circles. This doesn't have to be exact. Ooh, look, that one's like the perfect size. So you could use your washi tape if you have washi tape. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see me tracing with this pen, so I'm going to grab this trusty blue pen. And I just turned my page. So if you're a subscriber and you have this in your subscription box and you're using this to trace, the logo is just on the left, and we kicked it to the sideways, and I'm putting it on my right facing page. But also, you don't have to have this. You can just find objects in your house that are circles. All good. And it could be a very loose circle. It doesn't have to be perfect. Mine certainly isn't.
Things you can use in your house. A mug.
Yeah.
A glass.
A shampoo bottle, maybe.
Shampoo bottle.
Like a soap dispenser.
A DVD, if you still have those.
Well, that would be really large circle.
Yeah, well, I don't always have good ideas.
I think that would be a good idea. Like your
if you have
circle
a giant
could, like,
book.
A saucer, small saucer.
A saucer.
That would be about the same size as a DVD. Okay.
A cookie, if you have a spare cookie.
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 My 2-year-old really likes cookies right now, so I had to say it like she says it. All right.
She's so funny.
Okay. So now we got the circles on there, so we know where we're going to roughly cut it. Then we could add a little more paint and whatnot to that. But I think I'm going to let this be for a minute, and we can move on to this page and do the blue, maybe. Well, I want to be able to see what we're doing over there. Yeah, okay. We're going to keep going with this. That's what we're going to do.
Nice.
I just had to think about it.
I get you.
I made it a couple times, but you know, each time I do it, it's a little different. All right. I want a couple more lighter value in there, so I'm going to do that really quick. No. I'm going to cut it first, because then if I cut it first at this stage after it's already dry, this is what I'm thinking, like, then, and I paint, I won't be trying to cut where the paint is wet, and it will help with the process of the tutorial. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, that makes sense. Cut first, measure last. That's the phrase, I think.
Also, windows are
the eyes to the soul.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
That's how it is.
So he was saying that before we started recording. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's not that, but I was so tired that I couldn't think of what it was right. Okay. So I'm putting my cutting mat under my page because you don't want to cut without your cutting mat under your page because then you'll be cutting more than one page possibly. So that's important.
Pro tip.
Pro tip. And I'm just going to loosely follow this line. And you want to make sure you have a good sharp blade. So if your blade is struggling to cut, then you want to change it out. This one looks like it's doing okay. And I like to turn my page to make it easier for me to cut at an angle that's comfortable. So you can do that if that feels right. And you might have to go over the lines a couple of times because this paper is thicker than your collage paper. So if you've been following along with us and you've cut collage paper and now you're trying to cut this journal page, which is substantially thicker, and you're like, what the heck? It's going to take a couple more cuts to get it, and that's okay. And you can see I'm just cutting a little bit at a time. I'm not trying to cut like the full circle all the way around. Like you know, you can do it a little bit at a time. I might make it easier. So I'm starting to break through here. Is this good?
Yes.
Try to keep my head out of the way.
You're doing a good job.
Yeah. Okay, so there's the first one. And you can save these to use in another way in your journal, like collage or whatever. Oh, I don't need that. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this so it's more comfortable for me. I'm gonna do this. I just think it's so fun to make interactive pages.
Oh yeah. What are you going to use the cutout circles for?
I don't know. Do something. Maybe they could be like...
They could be planets.
Yeah. Or flowers or...
Or wheels.
Ooh, yeah.
Or candy.
They kind of look like candy.
Yeah. Because of that bubblegum pink.
Mm-hmm. And these are not perfect. They're just like rough circles. That is okay because you made it. A machine did not make it. And I kind of like the wonky homemade because it feels like somebody made it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Also, I don't always enjoy being like uber super precise. If you enjoy that, that brings you joy, then make perfect circles. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's also nothing wrong with making it wonky. Am I right?
You are right.
All right.
Correct. Correct. That is correct.
Thank you. Okay, get all our little straight. So, oh yeah, that's looking cool. All right. So yeah, now we can go in and do some embellishments. What happened to Mavis? Oh, she's hiding.
She needed a break, it turns out. Oh, now she's getting entitled. She's been doing what she was made for so long. She's like, oh, listen, you need me.
Okay, I just want some, I need more white. My paint's drying. It's not totally dry, but it was drying. So that's why I was like, oh no, I should do the embellishments while my paint is not still
Excuse me.
ready.
I like that mixture.
Yeah, just like a little lighter
Yeah.
bit of something. It looks a little different than what I did before, but that's okay. I'm not a machine. It's okay. Sometimes you gotta give yourself a pep talk, right?
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that.
And who said everything has to turn out the same anyway? Nobody.
Yep. So if you're like, oh, mine looks different than hers. Well, mine looks different from mine, so it's
Yeah.
okay. Oh. I think you bring a lot to a painting session, you know, besides just like trying to do stuff. Like your mood and like, I don't know, maybe like what the sun looked like coming up this morning is still in your head, and it's a little...
Yeah.
Today was like super like dark and like misty, and the sun came up slower and kind of muddier, but it was like cool when I saw it.
Dang. That sounds nice.
Well, I was like, oh, it's all misty. My hair's going to get all humid. So my attitude wasn't like the best in the very beginning, but then I was like, oh, look.
Missouri's weather cracks me up because like 4 or 5 days ago it was 80 degrees, and now it's misty and 40.
Misty and 40.
Misty and 40.
Okay, so I know that I just kind of want this. I like the idea of kind of painting around these circles a little bit to kind of give it some feeling of, I don't know, a little motion, a little movement.
Motion. That's a
Uh,
football phrase, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I didn't know what that was like. I don't know what that means. I'm putting a little pink down here just to kind of balance out the pink I'm using elsewhere. Just kind of weights that a little. Yeah, I'm liking it. Put a little pink right there. Okay. Then I think the finishing touches will add a little bit more white to that, but we gotta wait for that to dry. I think we can probably just let this guy hang out right here while we work on the blue part. Okay, I gotta make more room on my palette. I spread out my paint a lot. And this might have been a 2 water cup session because my pink paint really got my paint water dirty, but I bet we can just pull it off.
I mean, I could always get you more water.
I would love that, actually. Okay, so I'm going to put my distress pen right on my palette like I did before in one of the other tutorials, I guess. I shouldn't assume that you saw that one. So just putting that straight on there, and then I'm getting my brush and getting it wet, so it's going to be like paint for me for a minute. I'm just going to get a little blue on here, and I kind of want to do something to create movement too, so I'm going to just sketch out with this, you know, this oval kind of shape. Thank you, Keenan.
You are welcome.
So kind.
I think more of my arm got in that shot than I was planning, and I apologize.
I didn't even think about that. I'm sure they're okay seeing your arm. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to create some movement on the page. Now I'm going to put a little bit more of this down so I can pick it up.
It wasn't bad. I checked it. I looked at it real quick. It wasn't bad. It's fine.
Your arm was perfectly normal, or it wasn't in the shot?
It was an appropriate amount of Keenan's arm in the video.
He's wearing a great hoodie, and I'm kind of jealous because it's cold back here.
Yeah.
I wish I was wearing a hoodie.
Our studio is not very well temperature controlled. So...
But I got clean water, and that's awesome.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, a little more blue. And then we'll use this Distress crayon to get some like crayon-y texture, which is fun.
Oh, crayon-y.
Yeah, I just think we should be using the technical terms for things.
No, I appreciate that.
So I just wanted to, like, you know, get serious for a minute.
Yep. I understand. I learned faster with technical terms like crayon-y.
I don't know. Okay, so yeah, that's giving us some movement texture that we wanted. I'm liking it.
Big fan.
I'm into it. Whoop, almost went for the dirty water. Psh. Amateur hour here.
Pro tip, don't go for the dirty water.
I mean, if you do, it might change things. It'll be all right. We can come back from that.
Ooh, it might give it a little bit of a tint.
A little hint.
Hint of a tint.
Okay, feeling good about this. Now we can take this and kind of come in here and add a little something. And because it's wet, it's going to be like a little darker in those areas, which I like. I'm into that. Oh yeah.
Nice.
Kind of looks like a storm swirling a little, or some magic about to happen. Now, when we glue our stuff down, we can kind of adjust our marks to incorporate that. I'm gonna use my finger because it's also a really great art tool. Fulfilling my purpose.
Crayon-y purpose?
Yep. Because, you know, when you get your hands in there, it's even more fun. All right, so I'm gonna set this aside for a second. We'll do some cutting here with our image. And it's nice to have the ruler if you want the straight edge. This ruler has seen some things. Seen some paint, some good times. Okay, trim this out. You could also use scissors, like you don't have to use an X-Acto over everything, but you got one. You got a ruler, then you can do this too.
Why are rulers, I feel like rulers and pencils are so hard to find in a house. They always just disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like socks.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm gonna trim out the words that we got here, which say a book is.
If I could buy a new pair of socks every day, I would.
I remember you saying that, and I can get behind that.
I love socks.
I'm just cutting all the lines that are going this direction, and then I'll cut the other ones probably more freehand because I'm not that worried about it, but you can do whatever you want. I just like doing it like this. Okay, so we got them all cut that way. Now we can cut this way. So we got a magic, put that guy over there. A book is. Got a little sliver of orange on that still, so I'm just gonna trim that off. There we go. Portal. Yep. I mean, books are really cool like that, like how they really do take you to places in your imagination, or even like someone else's perspective or experience that you might never thought of on your own.
My favorite word is perspective.
Really?
Yes. Perspective followed by attitude.
Some good words. Well, I think I'm going to trim my dimension a little shorter than I have it here, just so it fits on my page better.
You're going to change the dimensions of your dimension?
I did. Dimension changed.
Did I mention that I changed the dimension of the dimension?
I mean, it looked nice on the page when I made the art journal page, but I mean the collage page, but okay, so that's what we're doing. Come back in here. Now, lining this up with your page is a little tricky, maybe. I like that I can just have this peeking through here a little bit. I'm okay with that because I can just incorporate the swoops and the word there and it'll hardly be noticed. But what I'd like to do is have this page, my book, kind of line up in that circle, you know, a little bit. So I think I'm going to look at how this is being viewed through there, and then I'm going to plan that around that. So I'm going to just kick that up a little bit.
Your mixed colors with that page match almost perfectly.
Well, thank you. I feel like that looks that's where I want it. So that's why I thought it was important to cut the hole first so you could like arrange your back page towards that. So let's get some yes paste on this and get it glued down. And then we can trim off this extra.
Extra, read all about it. You said the word extra and it got stuck in my head.
So usually I like to put the yes paste on the thing that I'm doing and then put it down, but because I'm being very specific about where I want this line up, I'm going to do it a little bit differently this time. So I'm going to check. I like that. I'm going to hold my paper in place and I'm going to put the glue right on my page. On this side first. And I'm still trying to get it evenly on there. I'm scraping it across. I'm trying not to go outside of the size of my page. So I can kind of stick that down in place. Now this is not going to move on me. I can kind of relax. It's like, I don't want that to move. And we can keep going. Just taking our glue and getting it on our journal page so that it matches up with the image we're gluing here. I'm just scraping it. You just need a thin layer. You don't need a lot. So if you're finding that your yes paste is running out, unless you're doing a lot of collaging outside of the projects we are doing together, then you might be using too much. So just scrape it around so that you got a thin layer. So yeah, just another way to glue something down if you're trying to be precise about where you want it. I got a lot on there. I'm gonna try to scrape that back. There we go. Nice. Now I can lift the other side and do the same thing. I'm being careful not to like crease it when I bend it back. It's probably hard to see this paste on the page because it's like clear or whatever, but. And my yes paste, I've had this little jar for a minute. It's a little bit drier. You can always add a little water to your yes paste and let it sit overnight and it will kind of soften it. And instead of being a little sticky like mine is today, it's a little bit more like butter, but it's also a little bit colder back here. So I don't know if you're the type of person who leaves butter in a jar, like in a counter on the table, and on a cold day, you're like, hey, what happened to the butter? It's a little cold in here. It's not quite as soft. And this is kind of the same way with yes paste.
I like warm butter on a freshly baked loaf of bread.
Yeah, that's gonna make me hungry now.
Yes.
Oh, there's nowhere to get fresh bread around here. You want to make some bread today, Keenan?
You just got to bake it yourself, yeah. I mean, you just got to have flour, sugar, maybe some yeast. You can make bread at a fire with an egg and flour.
You can?
Yeah.
I challenge you to do that. Show me
and
your ways.
a certain amount of flour.
I challenge you to show me your ways.
All right.
I don't know how that's going to turn out. Will it really be good? Like if you do it like that?
Yeah.
Have you done it?
It ends up being noodles, actually, not bread. But
okay, that's totally different.
It's not totally different.
Noodles and bread are different.
They're both carbs.
Yes. Okay, so I just lined my ruler up with the side of my page. Get this little extra bit off. We did it. I feel like that's the hardest part, is getting that lined up, and I'm liking it. Okay, Oh, what am I doing? We gotta glue the words. I just put the cap on this thinking like, oh, we're done. We're not done. We are not. It's a good idea to always put your cap back on when you think you're done though. It's good practice to be in. A book is there's all kinds of things you can do with this. You could use a different shape for a window, like you don't have to do circles.
Like squares?
Yes. Or like, I don't know, something else like a flower or something. You could have a flower cut and then it could show through to the other side or something. You can get creative. Okay, now I'm thinking I would have liked that to be more in the middle. So because my glue is slow drying, I just pushed that down a little bit. Did you see how magical that was? Oh, I love that. I love that about Yes Paste. All right. I'm going to put this right there. I think that looks good with this page over that. It's nice to just bring your page over and check how you're feeling about that when it looks that way. Okay, now I want a book is a magic portal to be seen. So I'm going to do portal next. Just a teeny bit of glue, just enough for it will stick. Scrape it, there you go. And same thing, I'm going to just line that up right there. Like it. And then to another and dimension will be our sneaky ones that you see when you open the page. I'm just going to lightly put that there because I want to see where I'm going to put dimension before I really commit to that. I think I'm going to do, yeah, I want to move that up a little bit. I just like the idea of the space being even between those and this one still kind of looking nice down there. All right. Scrape the excess off and then get that on there. Yeah. That little corner of my magic book page just needs the teeniest bit of glue right there. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, and now that you've got this glued down, you can come back in with your crayon and even go over the image and then back out of your page to kind of give it some, so it blends more to the page, you know.
I like that.
Thanks. I can do maybe a darker line in here now. This twists, so if you need to get more out that way, then that's fine. And then you can add just a titch more water to those ones that we just did, and the water will kind of disperse a little bit and give us some more texture, which is nice. And then, yeah. Okay, we got that. Oh, so fun. Okay, and then we can do some more detail on the top here, just some finishing details with white.
That looks so cool.
Thanks. I think I can just clip this down. It's probably dry enough to keep going. I just like the idea of some little tiny white dots as a detail. So a smaller brush is going to be helpful with that. Whatever you got is fine, but maybe not the oval knot brush, you know, like a pointy brush, like our oval. I mean, my goodness, the 8 brush.
Does the 8 brush have a name?
Number 8. I just haven't got to know her yet. We'll have to think about it. Maybe, what is, what?
Josephine.
Josephine.
No, that doesn't work. Never mind, I changed my mind.
I mean, I kind of like Josephine. It seems very proper. So I'm just doing those 3 little dots right there. I like it. Maybe 3 little dots right here. 3 little dots right here. And then we can do a little, just slightly watered down, not too much. And then we could just come in here with some lines to create some motion. Might have had it a little too watered down. Maybe another dot right there.
Can't quite see.
Try to move it.
There you go.
So just some white accents, however you want to do it. It's fine. Just adds a little magic to it. Just a little touch of magic. I think the finishing details are always my favorite. Just, it's funny how just a little thing can transform something, the way it feels. Just those little details.
They make it pop.
Yeah, I think it makes it pop. Yeah, so play around with the dots. You can do more, you can do less, you can have it be more translucent, you can have it be more opaque. I'm kind of liking where that landed. Maybe just, like, I'm done. No, I'm not, just kidding. Just a little.
Or
I'm just not ready for it to be over. It's too fun. All right, and yeah, there we go. I just want to be able to see those a little bit more. All right. Yes. Okay, so here we go. A book is a magic portal to another dimension. We did it.
oh,
We created dimension for another dimension. I hope you had a good time making this with us. Thanks for being here, and I'd love to see different variations of our projects that we do together. And if you like sharing them, you can go on our Facebook group to Let's Make Art Journals and share it there. You can share it with a hashtag Instagram. It's just so fun to be in a community where we're making things together, we're giving yourselves permission to like push away that stress for a minute and have a moment, and then we're sharing what we made. And it's okay if you're a beginner, it's okay if you're not a beginner. We're just here cheering each other on, having a good time, and inspiring one another. And that's what I love about this community. It's like when we share something that like triggers a thought, and then maybe you think about something else, and like all of us together like just keep like influencing each other in like really cool ways. So thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time.